Hey, you're listening to Coffee Talk with Liquidshano 1973. Here's your host, Shane Lakita.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Thanks so much again for joining another episode of Coffee Talk, this podcast here that I'm putting together to share thoughts and stories and all that other good stuff. And I've noticed lately, over the past couple days, a lot of people have been sharing it and posting about the podcast and sharing it with people that might need it or any of those things. So thank you so much for all the support, guys. I really do appreciate it. You know, I was out and about yesterday, and we're in the middle of a snowstorm, and we were doing our things. And, you know, I work in sales, and I work as an area manager. And so as I travel throughout the state, I stop in different places and see all different walks of life and different mentalities and different people. And it's just great. It's really a great way to be able to step out of the confines of the four walls of an office and just get out and about to talk to people. Sometimes good conversations, sometimes accountability conversations, but a lot of the conversations are still investing in people, and we're having conversations and being human and talking about our struggles and our strengths and all that stuff. So I love and I enjoy everything that I do. Well, yesterday I was having a conversation with somebody, and we were at the store and we were out getting lunch. And it's interesting because right next to me while we were out at the store, there was a parent that was looking at a kid. Now, I always talk about these little situations that might come up in my journey that I listen to, the way humans talk to people and the way that we respond to things, the way we do things. And one of the things that I noticed is that the parent was telling the kid, basically, don't set your hopes too high. I think it's something about sports. I think the kid wanted to go for the baseball team or whatever, and don't set your hopes too high because, you know, you may not make it. And the last thing parents want to see with their kids is any form of pain, suffering, or emotion and those kind of things, because we're very protective of our children, which is a natural ability for us to be able to protect them and put on the mother or fatherly, protective armor that we like to put on our kids, right? So I was thinking about it as I got done, and I was done conversing with some of the folks that I was conversing with, and I was on the road again, because a lot of my locations are so far away, so I get a lot of road time, which gives me a lot of time to sit back and just think about things. Well, I thought about that. When the parent said to the child, don't set your hopes too high because you might be disappointed, right? I mean, that's pretty much what they were saying. But don't set your hopes too high. I think to myself, why not? Why do we tell ourselves that? Because we are humans and we do that all the time. How many times have you wanted to achieve a goal or set out to do something, whether it's a bucket list item or whether it's something that you've just always wanted to do and wanted to accomplish and achieve, and you expect the worst, and that way if something good happens, you're celebrating in that? It's human nature to be that way. I think that we tend to set ourselves up for that fall a lot of times rather than just pulling the Band-Aid off and going for whatever dream that it is that you're trying to be able to accomplish. And we've been trained that way. I mean, I know I have. And I will tell you, a lot of successful people, if you dig into the nooks and crannies of why they're successful and who they are, there's a couple things that you might flesh out, right? One of the things is that some of them are successful as they are because they've been told that they can't do things, and they've just fought like hell to get to where they're going to get to. They have natural talent, and they really focused on the things that are there, and they just did it, right? So they did it despite others that might have said you aren't going to achieve the things that you want to achieve. And one of the other pockets or other dynamics of this psyche that we're a part of in this human world that we live in is basically we don't want to fail. And successful people continue to push forward and are not afraid of failure. They're not afraid of falling down, skinning their knee, scraping their elbow, maybe nicking their nose or whatever else that might happen when you fall and you fail. Now, a lot of people don't like to use the word failure in their vocabulary. I've met people like that too. But I'm okay with failure Because failure is something that helps, us learn and really grow from that learning and be able to build skill sets for what we can use in the future, right? So failure is important in that aspect. Failure also builds character. It builds the ability for you to be able to say, okay, so I've been through this situation before and I see somebody else that might be struggling with that. So you know what? I might be able to add value to that person or give them some insight on how to be able to attack that. Or family members, friends, those kind of things. And when it builds your character, it really truly sets in to be in the fact of if you want something bad enough, you're not going to worry about that failure. You're going to stand up from that little scrape on the ground. You're going to do whatever it takes for you to be able to achieve the goals that you're trying to be able to set out for. So when this mother tells the child, don't set your hopes too high, that's really not the direction we should move in, correct? I mean, really, when we think about it, the grand scheme of it is, I know we're being protective of our kids, but if you don't set your hopes high, what are you ever going to accomplish? How can you not set your hopes high for dreams and aspirations of things that you want to accomplish in life? I know for me, doing this podcast, stepping out of my comfort zone, blogging, writing, and all this stuff. Listen, I'm an area manager that likes to sell cell phones, okay? I travel throughout the state of Maine. I talk to people, but I would have never, ever thought that my dream would come true, that I'd be recording a podcast, have a bunch of people that are with me, hand in hand, supporting me, acknowledging me, and lifting me up whenever I need it. I would have never thought any of this. Any of this would have ever happened if I didn't set my hopes high. When I first went out and bought the microphone and I sat down and thinking to myself, I'm going to do a podcast and I'm going to put my thoughts out there and just see what's going to happen. My dreams are one day to make a nationally wide audience that can be there. That's a dream of mine, right? But I'm not losing that dream because I can say, well, I'm just a small podcast guy, that whatever. If I'm going to dream big, I'm going to work big. And if I'm going to work big, I'm going to get to where I want to be. But the key to it is I can't sell myself short. Stop limiting yourself. My mother, interesting enough, posted on Facebook today. I read it this morning and I liked her comment that was on there. She posted like this little image on Facebook. And on there said, basically, to summarize it, it said, why do we continue to limit ourselves? Because if you limit yourself, you're never going to accomplish great things outside of the bounds of what you are normally doing in your everyday ho-hum life. You know, some people are happy with that ho-hum life and some people are happy just kind of sitting and staying in their lane. That's great. Listen, I'm not saying to go out there and just kind of put everything you've got into, dump all your money into and risk everything you've got into something. What I am saying is keep your dreams in the forefront of your mind, not in the background. Because if you don't have dreams and you don't set them high, you're never going to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. They're always going to be back burners. You're always going to shelve it. You're always going to take a look at whatever it is that you want to accomplish and the dream that you want to be able to get to. You're always going to say to yourself, oh, wait, you know what? This came up. My kid has a basketball game. My kid has a softball game, blah, blah, blah. I got no time or whatever. Whatever the excuse that would come up that you can't accomplish the things that you want to accomplish, which at the end of the day, to be honest with you, if they're your dreams and your aspirations, sometimes they are excuses. They're valid reasons. I'm not saying that they're not valid reasons, but they're valid reasons. But stop shelving your dreams based on the fact that you doubt yourself or that you limit yourself or that you don't set the time aside to achieve the things that you want to achieve. It was just a little bit ago that we were sitting down, my wife and I, at the table. We're talking about, what do I want to accomplish? And I work in business and I work as a business consultant, right? So I'm walking through all these owners and we do cell phones and want to talk about profits and losses and margins and all that good stuff. And so I wanted to set forward to prepare myself for a path of success in whatever I want to do, that I knew that I wanted to go for my MBA because it took me a long time to get to my bachelor's degree. And I dug in during the bachelor's degree. And this is raising a baby. This is working full time. This is all the stuff. I mean, like, legitimately was spent and exhausted. But I knew my dream is that I one day want to be able to put Shane Lakita, MBA after my name, because it's something that I wanted to accomplish and prove people wrong that might have doubted me before. Here's the interesting thing. In my immediate family, I'm one of the first ones in my immediate family to go to college, graduate college, and be able to move forward. And now I'm looking for higher education with a graduate course. So we sat down and I talked about it. I said, I know what kind of work it's really put into with the bachelor's. And I know the master's is going to be even that much more difficult because it's going to have longer theses, it's going to have longer papers, all that stuff. And my wife looked at me and she said, I know financially it will put us in a bind because student loans add up and I'm going to be paying on those until I'm 70. But it doesn't matter because it's your dream and it's your aspiration to achieve that MBA. Why are you limiting yourself? Why are you saying that you can't do it based on the fact that you don't have the time? When you've done it all the way through your bachelor's degree, you just need more work. You got to work harder. You got to dig in. So I didn't take my mind or my eye off the prize when I was thinking to myself what that dream or that aspiration is that I want to be able to accomplish. And it's interesting because I did it. 2 years down the road, I achieved my MBA. A lot of hard work and dedication. But I set my dreams and I set my aspirations and my goals where I wanted it to be, knowing what the norm, the societal norm of anybody that looks at me and goes, yeah, you can't do that. I mean, listen, you're working full time. You got a full time gig. You're a dad. You're a husband. You got all this stuff like that. And you're doing all this other stuff on the side. You got no time for that. But I did. Because you know why? It was important to me. And I knew that I needed to set my dreams high, and I knew that I could accomplish them if I just put the work in to do it. And that's the second piece. You know, we talk to our kids about not setting our hopes too high because we're afraid of them to fail. We're afraid of them to fall and skin their knee, and then we'd have to play protector, which is what we do. It's our job as a parent. But when we look at it, those skin knee moments are learning, right? They're a learning experience for our kids. But if the kid takes the eye off the prize the first time that they skin their knee, then they're going to be sitting down in this holding pattern for the rest of their life. Change the way we're doing it now. Change their path. And then if you can change their path, which is what we're going to have in the future of this world, of these kids that are growing up knowing that I can achieve anything I set my mind to, and I will set my hopes high. And if I don't get to where I want to get to with those hopes, then what do I learn from it and how do I be better from it? And that's basic parenting 101, right? There are teachable moments all around us. And we look at our kids, we sit down with them and we say, hey, listen, you know what? Here's a moment that you can really think about your actions, think about your behaviors, think about your thoughts. What did you go through? Remember that to where you're at right now to how to be able to move forward. All these teachable moments that we have for our kids. Where are your teachable moments as an adult? Do you look at life as a teachable moment action? Do you look at life as a moment where you're sitting down and going, I'm in my mid-40s and I haven't accomplished everything that I want to accomplish. And there are so many things that I had on my dream board that I've put in front of me that I know I haven't accomplished, and probably in the mindset that I'm in right now, I probably won't accomplish, but they're dreams, so I just put them up there because they're pretty colored and they look nice. Stop thinking that they're pretty colored and they look nice. Start putting actions into achieving the goals that you're trying to do. You're worth that investment. The other half of that, though, is you can put the dreams up there. A great teachable moment that I was just talking about with our kids, and a teachable moment for us is it takes work. It's not going to be handed to you. Sometimes, to achieve the goals and the dreams of the things that we're trying to achieve, you have to give up things to get there. You've got to fight to get there. You got to dig in to be able to get to where you want to be. If you're not willing to put the work in and dive into the specifics of what is necessary to grind it out to get to where you want to be. If you want to be a bodybuilder, do you think you can snap a finger and lift 50-pound dumbbells and put them all the way up, or bench press 400 pounds right off the bat. No. It takes work, practice, energy, repetition, accountability, resistance. You got to really fight to be able to get to where you want to get to. Do you think the runners that do 8-minute miles that are running across some of them are naturally gifted, but do you think that some of those runners don't practice every day? They don't go for runs all the time. They don't put in 10, 15, 20 miles to be able to get up to where they need to get to for the marathon. Do you think that they get right off the couch and they can hop right out and do a marathon tomorrow? No. It takes work, time, energy, focus. But that's their dream. They're setting their hopes high of achieving the goal of running a marathon, becoming a bodybuilder, losing weight, being healthy, counting calories, getting an MBA, going for your bachelor's, whatever it is. Don't worry about setting your hopes too high. You're worth the investment to be able to get to where you've got to get to. You're worth the ability to be able to sit down and go, okay, this is where I sit right now. I would love to be there one day. And don't just think of it as a pipe dream. Put actions into place for you to get there, okay? Stop just dreaming about it. Focus on going for it. One foot in front of the other. I share it all the time with the podcast, the blogging, No Finish Line Nation. Think about No Finish Line Nation, the Facebook page, okay? Just real quick. We started that just over a year ago. We put out an ability for people to be able to get together to bring accountability, positivity, motivation, and all those great things all together with all these folks that are like-minded, and it's a safe environment to get together. And we thought, to be honest with you, legitimately, our dream was to have a few thousand people that were there to be able to just support each other. Give people an outlet, a different avenue, a different venue from what Facebook had become with political and satire and anger. And so we put it out there. It's a closed group. And by word of mouth, over a year, we have now topped 38,000 people all together in one place, supporting each other, lifting each other up, adding value to each other's lives, and doing everything that we need to be able to continue to push forward and to help us to be able to get to the point where we're not telling ourselves not to set our goals and our hopes too high, but rather you can achieve whatever it is you set your mind to. That's amazing to me. It's almost like a social experiment. Just over a year ago, 38,000 people now are all together, hand in hand, arm in arm, step in step, lock in lock, that we are fighting the good fight and doing everything necessary for us to be amazing and successful. You know why that is? Because we didn't stop ourselves. We didn't let the negative naysayers, the people that were saying that you'd never be able to achieve anything with that, or you have a hidden agenda, or you are a false prophets, or whatever else you got going on. All those things. I've heard them all, right? And if we listen to the naysayers of the people that are over on the side that were saying that we had malicious intentions of doing it to be able to profit or whatever, those kind of things, we probably would have stepped away. And the other thing is that with those negative naysayers that were saying that, if we had stooped to their level and continued to combat those, you rise above and you do everything you have to do that you feel in your heart of hearts is the right thing to do. Nobody was telling us don't set your hopes too high, because we weren't going to let them tell us that. We set our hopes high, and we continue to set our hopes high. The sky is the limit of the things that we can accomplish in this life. So remember that today, okay? Focus in on what those goals are and start putting some actions to achieve those goals rather than just having them be pipe dreams or just dreams in general. I know it sounds so cliche when you can say, make your dreams a reality, but today is the day that you got to start doing that. You got to start investing in the fact that you've got dreams, you've got goals, you've got aspirations, you want to accomplish great things. Start today. Invest in it. Put a plan together. How are you going to get there? Are you afraid of failure? Okay. It's okay. You're always going to be able to pick up. It doesn't kill you. You can pick yourself back up, brush yourself off, learn from it, and keep moving on, right? Are you afraid of what people might think of you if you're going for your dreams and goals? Well, then if you have people around you that are bashing you or trying to break you down for trying to achieve your goals, you don't need those people in your life. So kick rocks. Tell them, hit the bricks, pal. I don't need you in my life. Stop setting limitations on the things that you want to achieve and the goals that you want to get to, okay? Think about that today. Think about your big goals, the big things you want to be able to accomplish, and don't worry about trying to go for them. Because if you don't go for them, you're never going to know. If you don't ask the questions, you're never going to know. All right? Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Coffee Talk with Liquidshano 1973 podcast. You can also follow him on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Liquidshano 1973. Also, if you get a chance, leave some love on iTunes. Have a great day.